Hello there, Maverick traders. This is Rob Reinhold. It's nice to see you here. It is July 25th, one day ahead of the Fed meeting, and you know what that means. That typically means a pretty boring day. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little bit of time going over the boring day we had today. We'll take a look at the broad markets, we'll take a look at commodities, and then we're going to boil down into where the market is right now. We're going to take a look at our broad market scores, we're going to take a look at our currency basket scores, and then as always, we are always looking for setups. We'll be looking for some trades, but that being said, we're right ahead of the FOMC. Most of the trades, especially any dollar trade, you want to wait until that FOMC report is made.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional Forex and crypto traders. Maverick Currencies is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional Forex and currency trader for Maverick, click the Apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
Let's check in on that boring market. This is where we sat yesterday. Ankit broke it down and said, okay, right now the cryptos are out of favor. We're not interested in them. And you can see the only thing that's interesting is the CAD at a +2, the Euro at a -2. The Euro-CAD pair didn't really go anywhere today. So we'll take a look at how everything moved today, but you can see here, we're at a little bit of a pause before the Fed meeting, which is very, very typical. So let's first start off with what was the news of the day. So we had the highest consumer confidence we've had in 2 years. I believe the number went to 117, and there were expectations of 115. So again, economic news continues to come in better than expected. That being said, it's the day before the Fed meeting. Everything was quiet. Everything was compressed. We are in the middle of second quarter earnings in the US, and for the most part, they came out bullish. After the bell today, Google came out. They're up about 7 or 8%. Microsoft announced they're only down about 1%. So the futures are up about 0.25% to maybe 0.5%. Showing that the underlying strength is still there in the equity market. If we come over here and take a look at what happened in the Forex market, it didn't really make any sense. I mean, take a look at all the breakdowns here. Euro, Swiss franc is typically correlated. That was not correlated. The Aussie and Kiwi are typically correlated, and we see they were not correlated. The only correlation that really held up today was the dollar and the CAD. They both went down, but after that, look, this isn't a great trading day. There's no real trends happening at the moment. As we said over the weekend, we like trading after Wednesday, from Wednesday to Friday, much more than trying to catch a trade early this week. We take a look at the broad markets. We had the S&P up about 0.25%, world market up a little bit more. Crypto was totally flat today, and you can see oil had a 1% move. And that's not a big move in oil. These are all very, very compressed movements. And then take a look at the compression we saw in crypto. Now look, I know people say, oh, 0.68 rise in Ethereum. Look, that is nothing. Ethereum moves that in literally 5 minutes. This is a very, very low volatility day, and it's not surprising in the fact that we are heading into an FOMC meeting tomorrow. So to update our scores, there's really nothing to update. We have been at a +3 in the equity markets for the last 2 months. And if we take a look at the chart here on the S&P, you can see here it's nothing but bullish. And in fact, all it's doing now is high basing up here, gathering strength for another breakout higher. So equities still look like they want to go higher. I know I might have some perma-bulls out there that don't believe it, but guess what? You haven't believed it the whole way. This thing has been a bull market the entire time. Let's take a look at the schedule, and I'm really going to spend some time for what's going to happen over the next 24 hours. So first up tonight, we do have a decent report tonight, Australian CPI coming out at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are trading Aussie, this is a report that you want to be watching. Stronger than expected report, expect the Aussie to go up. Weaker, expected to go down. I really think this report is good for probably 40, 50 pips. That's a little bit much since the Aussie is a lower price. Let's call it 30 to 40 pips on the Aussie, basically one way or the other. We'll take a look at the Aussie and we'll get ready for it going into this report. The only other thing we have on the schedule is the FOMC. Now remember, the FOMC always creates volatility. and it always creates a whipsaw. I shouldn't say always, but most of the time you get these moves higher, these moves lower in dollar, and by the end of the day, there's been one move. But anyone who tried to trade around that report got knocked out of their stop. They got chopped up is what I call it. So we will be meeting live for the FOMC statement tomorrow. We'll be trading it live. Come join us as a Maverick trader and we'll navigate this. But the expectations are that they're going to raise 25 basis points and the odds of a rate hike are standing at 99%. So it is a done deal. We will definitely get a quarter point raise tomorrow. The question is, what is the statement? Take a look on Thursday. We also have ECB coming out. So be ready for that. We'll also be meeting live for that ECB report Thursday morning. Let's go in and check out our currencies. Let's see what is actually moving. Now, I want to really focus on the currencies in play here. So right now, was the Euro CAD. Let's check in on those. Here is the Euro basket, equally weighted against the 700th currencies on a 4-hour chart. And you can see we've got all of our velocity scores in here. So again, the moving average is heading lower, the parabolic star is heading lower, the RSI is heading lower. So we had Euro short, and that actually looked like a pretty good play. So any Euro short made a little bit of money, decent money. Now we had the CAD long. Here's the problem. The CAD was also pulling back. So if you were playing Euro CAD to the short side, it was okay. You made a tiny bit, but it just hasn't moved a whole lot. So they've both been weak overnight. So the Euro's been weak. The CAD we thought was going to be strong wasn't strong. What actually was strong was the Swiss franc. So let's take a look at the Swiss franc basket. Let's see where it is right now. So here it is on a 4-hour chart. And you can see, yes, we had a move up, but it was nothing more than a move in a range. We're sitting in this range here on Swiss franc. And frankly, I'm not all that excited about really any movement to the upside or the downside on Swiss franc. So Swiss franc really hasn't gone anywhere. Let's see if we can see any movement at all in something like the Aussie. The Aussie was the strongest currency of the day. You can see that we are coming up to some pretty serious resistance here. Now, I do like how this Aussie is setting up. We're trading at the high point of the range. We have a major news announcement with the CPI tonight. So for me, if I was looking to do a trade overnight, it would definitely be Aussie long. However, I would not buy before the CPI report. I would wait till after the breakout, maybe even let it pull back a little bit. But to me, Aussie is really the only interesting thing until we get into the Fed meeting. So the question is, what do we pair it up against? We've seen that Euro has been weak. Let's check in on yen. As you can see here, yen hasn't really gone anywhere, but it has stayed weak. We have EMAs moving lower. We have parabolic SAR barely moved, but there's just not a lot of momentum to it right now. So frankly, I really want to focus on possibly the Euro against the Aussie here. All the cryptos are still not showing any signs of buying here, so there's really no need for us to take some time to look at those. There's just not been a lot of movement over the last 24 hours, so really the only movement has been the CAD has weakened and the Aussie has strengthened a bit. So that really only leaves us with one currency pair going into the Aussie CPI report. Let's take a look at Euro Aussie as a trade. There's really nothing else to look at until the Fed meeting. Let's take a look first on a daily chart, see where we are in the range. You can see here that we are trading at the bottom of a range. We don't want to be shorting here at where there is some pretty major support. However, if we get a break through this, we absolutely want to be there for a trade. So this support line is right around 162.50. 162.55, 162.50. That's really a good place. I think if we get a move below that, I think you can absolutely enter a trade here. I'm going to be looking at entering a trade at maybe 162.40, but I'm not going to have an order out before the news. I'm going to wait till after the news. I'll reevaluate it and look to take a trade there. Potential targets here. Taking a look here. First stop is likely to be 161 is probably the first stop here. There's some pretty minor support based on how long you're intending to hold this, but I think looking down to that 161 area is a reasonable target on this one. This one's likely to take a couple days to get there, but if that is your time frame, there's no problem whatsoever. Other than that, there's really nothing to look at until the FOMC meeting tomorrow. Let's wrap this up. I'll show you CPI tonight. Other than that, I think you got to be on hold until the FOMC tomorrow. We are meeting live as a firm. We're going to be trading it live. So Maverick traders, come join us and we'll see what we can do. Other than that, we do have ECB later this week. If you are trading Euro, be aware of that. Thursday morning, likely to be a big move on Euro. Other than that, everyone have a great rest of your week and happy trading, everyone. Goodbye.